Imagine you've done everything right your entire life. Studied hard, worked hard, maybe even graduated at the top of your class, only to suddenly face the threat of deportation to a country that you know nothing about.
When President Barack Obama spoke of the Dreamers in 2012, for thousands of immigrant families, it brought back memories and emotions of why people would leave their home country behind.
I believe in America. You know, even I believe in Nigeria before, but when I saw that things are getting down, that's why I came to America. It's just because of my children's education. I said, no, I don't want my children to be lost in the system.
We try to give them a free life, and anything challenging, go for it. The worrying is the parents' side of things.
There's always hints growing up. There were times where she'd be crying upstairs, and you go up and try to comfort your mom, and then she puts on her brave face, and you ask her what's going on, and she would always answer, it's not time yet. I can't tell you the story.
Timilehin Wusu's story begins in the U.S. Virgin Islands. He and his siblings were born there as American citizens, and his family moved to Palo Alto, California in the late 1980s.
The oldest son in a Nigerian household. I was a goody two-shoes and a rule follower, and I just wanted to make my family proud.
Wusu did just that. He excelled academically and athletically in the affluent Silicon Valley suburb.
I was definitely aware that we were poor, but my parents did a pretty good job of shielding from us just how poor we were.
They don't see that they are poor. We don't see that. They just see that we see equality, because I told them nobody is better than you.
How do you end up at Stanford?
My mother. Short answer.
Yeah.
Stanford had been my dream school since middle school. My mama whispering in my ears, go to Stanford. Go to Stanford. I never doubted my ability to achieve because we didn't have money, because my mom was like, not only can you do it, you have to do it.
Wusu, a straight-A student at Palo Alto High School, was accepted to Stanford University. But without an athletic scholarship or a promise of playing football, he was reluctant to take a risk on the school he had dreamed of playing for.
I said the rest will take care of itself. Even I don't know, I always just say it. I put it out to the universe. I just say, once you are there, everything will be taken care of.
His mother was right. Wusu walked onto the Stanford football team.
Wusu's on the edge of the line of scrimmage here.
And by his sophomore season, earned a full scholarship.
And I love the way he played. He was on a good team, but he stood out as one of those guys, just made plays, and whenever he made a play, it was jumping up and down, pumping his fist, and everybody celebrating with him. Just one of those guys that seemed to inspire the people around him.
Anytime we can recruit young men from right across the street, it's nice. And he became a really good player for us over the next 5 years.
In his senior year, Wusu earned first-team all-conference honors.
Ball is pitched outside. Lynch is in trouble. 2 Cardinals out there now, 3 and 4 of them. Tim Wusu was the first one to block his path.
After graduating with a degree in human biology, Wusu walked on to another team, the Oakland Raiders. Despite going undrafted, he played 2 seasons in the NFL, and in 2008, he signed another contract, this time with the Canadian Football League.
So I actually signed a deal, excited. Still playing ball, about to go travel the world, something I haven't really done before. Travel the world, go to Canada. And I call up my dad, like, Daddy, I have no idea where my passport is. And over the phone, he says, we'll see about that. We should talk.
He listens because I hardly say too much. And when I say something, it means it's important. So I told him, I said, look, if you go to Canada, you might not come back.
So we've told you the story that you were born in the U.S. Virgin Islands, that you were born in America. And so that story is not completely true.
Wusu had actually been born in Nigeria, not the U.S. Virgin Islands. His parents had kept this secret for 23 years. The Stanford graduate and former NFL player was an undocumented immigrant.
I've grown up with all these questions, and this was beyond the scope of what I had imagined. I didn't realize it quite at that time that was it for my football career, but that was it.
Wusu broke the news to his fiancée Maria, but was hopeful that after they married, he could become a U.S. citizen.
He said, I found out from my parents that I'm not a citizen, and immediately he's like, but don't worry about it. We're gonna get married, and then I'll become a citizen, and it will, it'll all work out. Over time, we realized that there was a lot more to it than that.
Wusu went to medical school at Northwestern University, got married, and applied for a green card. And just as he was moving to Boston for his residency at Harvard, he received a letter.
I remember it so vividly. On our kitchen counter, there was a letter from Immigration and Customs Services.
Dear Mr. Wusu, on June 14th, 2012, you submitted an application to register permanent residence / adjustment status. Upon consideration, it is the decision of the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services that your application to adjust status be denied. My wife was distraught by that letter, like extremely distraught by that letter.
It said, your application has been denied. You need to immediately remove yourself from the country. I broke down in tears. We didn't know what to do. We called our lawyer and...
Hey, guess what? I got a letter that basically they want me to leave the country. And he's like, don't worry, we have a backup plan.
Good afternoon, everybody. This morning, Secretary Napolitano announced new actions my administration will take to mend our nation's immigration policy, to make it more fair, more efficient, and more just, specifically for certain young people, sometimes called dreamers.
I wouldn't have been able to work. I wouldn't have been able to be an orthopedic resident at all without DACA. We're gonna make it so that you can contribute and to help this society that you already consider your home. So that was an unbelievable blessing.
DACA, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, helped Wusu work legally during his residency at Harvard. And in the summer of 2017, after reapplying when Donald Trump was elected president, Timilehin Wusu received his green card.
You strip this whole thing down, you're going to college to chase your dreams. And here's Wusu coming back and saying, hey, I came to Stanford and I chased my dreams and I'm getting to live them all.
Today, the dreamer from Palo Alto is back at Stanford as an orthopedic fellow and team doctor.
What's it like to be in Palo Alto, where you grew up, and have an opportunity to raise your daughter where you were from?
The best thing about it is having family around. Getting my daughter the opportunity to really get to know her grandparents, which I didn't really have the opportunity to do. That's definitely the best part about being here, is just watching the generations come together.
They are Americans in their heart, in their minds, in every single way but one, on paper. And as long as I'm president, I will not give up on this issue, not only because it's the right thing to do for our economy, but because it's the right thing to do, period.